Does that mean we're on? Yes. All right. Well, good evening, everybody. I guess I get to kick this off. Jeff Watling, Director of Parks and Recreation with the City of Issaquah. Thank you for letting us come back, Planning Policy Commission, and really have a chance to follow up on some of the work we've been doing this last month. I think when we last met as a big group, February 8th, a month ago tonight, we were over in the Eagle Room and had a great charrette exercise. At the end of that meeting, we were tasked with going back and working further with the park board and with other departments and with our consultant team and refining the green necklace and some of the key elements of that necklace, taking the work we did on the 8th and doing some further work. Happy tonight to come back to you to present the work that we've done, the results of that charrette. We had another charrette exercise that we invited the public to on the 26th of February. That was part of our park board meeting. We also have done a lot of work these last couple of weeks with planning staff from Development Services Department. We've also brought in some of our engineering staff from Public Works Engineering, given a lot of this desire for connectivity for the necklace is on our right-of-way. So really getting their feedback and their thoughts on this. So I'm going to pull this up. You're all going to get copies of this. I'm not going to read this word for word, but we'll kind of keep that up there for the night. Goals tonight. What we really want to do as we come back here is really twofold, two goals. First is to provide you with this draft document, to walk through the map. You'll notice as we walk through the map, you'll see 17 numbered elements. Those are really key elements that we see that will comprise and make up the necklace. So talk through some of the narrative that we've worked on those key elements. And then a bulk of the meeting, a bulk of our time tonight is really going to be a conversation about character and experience, and a bit of an interactive exercise, chance for you to get up and look at some photos, look at some visuals that are going to help us really fine-tune what character, what experience we want with each of those 17 elements. And then also just a chance to check in and really get a pulse from both you, Planning Policy Commission, and Park Board members and the general public. Are we headed in the right direction? Does this feel like really a collection of a lot of thought that has been from you, a lot of thought, quite frankly, that dates all the way back to the original task force that we're trying to compile and pull in to this document. Our desired outcome tonight is just that, is to try and get some consensus on the map, make sure we're going the right direction, and then get a sense of visual experience. One of the questions we asked on February 8th, if you remember, we had a quick little exercise with some post-it notes where we asked you, what does success look like? What does a successful green necklace look like? What does it do? Overwhelmingly, I don't have it. We sort of took all of those responses and created a Wordle and did some other things, but overwhelmingly, the core theme that came out of that from all of your feedback was connections. Connectivity, connection in various forms, and really the second most frequent word was experience. So given that, I think really the desire of this necklace is connectivity. Connections through, connections that support this future reinvestment of the Central Issaquah area, but not only the Central Issaquah area, really the context for the entire city. As we've been coming off the work we've done with the Park Strategic Plan, I think that the timing's been nice for us, and that as we've done this work with you on the necklace, we haven't lost sight of the bigger picture. I was going to use my markers, but since we're a fabric, I'm not going to, so I'll spare you from my armchair landscape architect, which I'm not. But this is a map. I think it really was a great reminder for us that we're really dealing in concentric circles as we start thinking of Issaquah, and as we've started thinking about what are these major movements and really the essence and priorities of the necklace. We have the central Issaquah area. It really is in the heart of the city. And I think from the origins of the task force work, this opportunity to frame a necklace and a trail system and experiences around that and through that. But also, you start to realize there's the bigger circle. All of this outer public space that has for decades been a priority and investment and great recreational experience that as we're planning our park plan, we're looking into central Issaquah. We're looking at our current residents and how do we create a park system that grows, supports the many needs that our residents have, and all the while also connects to the outer area. So as you start to see the major movements of this map, you'll start to see some main east-west corridors through the middle of central Issaquah area, through the north and the south area. You're going to see some major corridors along Issaquah Creek, and what an amazing opportunity this is from Squawk all the way to Lake Sammamish. The opportunity we have with Tibbetts Creek and activating that, this idea, this concept of another major corridor through the middle of central Issaquah. Just wanted to touch on that as we're talking experience here, the great thing is this isn't in isolation. This is really an experience, a connectivity that we want through all of Issaquah and has certainly been a priority for us as we've worked through, on this exercise. So the map itself, like I said, and talking about this, if you squint, you'll start to see, I know I need this microphone, don't I, to talk? I can't really go over there. I'll yell. This is kind of a game show microphone, isn't it? But you'll see these major north-south connections that, again, as we start imagining, we see them going outside of the central Issaquah area. And then these opportunities through the state park, down to the south, the southern edge, and some type of experience that really gives opportunity right through the heart of the central Issaquah area. Like I mentioned earlier, you'll notice the numbers. I'll invite Greg to come on up and introduce the numbers and what those are, but they really represent what we see as key elements that are going to make this happen. Another thing that we've certainly realized as we've done this work with all of you is that this is going to be accomplished in many, many different ways. As we've brought in and worked with Public Works engineering staff, as we've worked with our partners in development services, this is going to be a collaborative effort, a multi-departmental effort that's going to bite by bite make this happen. We're hoping that this vision sets some clarity. It sets some clarity about the big experiences that we want, but we realize that some of the details of this are going to happen through individual master plan efforts. They're going to happen through corridor design. Public Works Engineering is about to start on the Gilman Boulevard corridor. That work is going to help. Hopefully this is a foundation that helps the details that are going to happen through that effort. As the moratorium gets lifted and we start looking at development review. Development review is going to be part of supporting and making this happen. So the collaboration that's started is really going to be essential as this moves forward and we make this happen. Another thing you'll notice as we talk through this and as you see it and as we really get your feedback tonight is we really focused on the public realm. We really focused on the public system when we start thinking about the necklace. We recognize, and that's not to discount, there's going to be private-public opportunities woven within this entire area, and those are going to be critical, and those are going to be really supportive elements, but to try and map those becomes a difficult task, and we felt like this exercise being able to focus on really what the public priorities are. I think it sets a priority for what we as a city should be doing. I think, and as you'll see in the language, some of those private-public partnership opportunities are really going to be supported through the Urban Design Manual and some of the other supporting elements within our development regulations. So very much a interdepartmental, multi-dimensional effort to make this happen. So as you will get copies of this, as you're going to get copies of the table, I certainly welcome your feedback throughout tonight. Welcome your opportunity to jot some notes down on that map. Let us know what you think. Are we getting close? What might be missing? What questions you might have? Because hopefully we're getting close to something that feels really real. We know that this work is going to be essential as we, in fact, Brad, if you want to lift and wave the draft, as we're in the point of having our draft park strategic plan, this is the missing piece. We want to take this outcome, the very same outcome that you're going to be utilizing with Central Issaquah Visions, we want to take that same outcome and weave it into the park plan. So now those two documents really have a bridge between the two of them. So with that, I'm going to invite Greg to come up and talk a little bit about the key elements and the exercise, what we're doing tonight.
Okay. Thanks, Jeff. I'm Greg Brower with the Burger Partnership, and also here this evening is Stephanie Worrell from our office. And further this way. Okay, not used to performing. So, this evening, we've taken a couple of the meetings and done mapping exercise, and this evening is about character. We talked about that a little bit the last time we did a joint meeting and had everybody together. So this evening, what we're going to do in just a few minutes, we're going to do some quick rearranging of the tables, and we have collections of images. And we showed you a sampling of them when we got together last time, just showing where we might be headed with this idea of once the mapping is in place, it still seemed to be missing kind of what's the character to help fulfill the vision. So everybody kind of has a shared idea of what this green necklace means and what all the parts mean. We will focus on the 17 identified areas on the map. Stephanie's going to go through a brief description of what all those are. And what you'll get is everyone will get a packet, and it's going to have the same descriptions or similar descriptions to what Stephanie will give. And then we'll be able to move around the room. We've grouped them just to kind of give some order. There's not much else to the grouping of the way we put the images together, but just to kind of give some order and just kind of keep things moving, because we want to complete the task and go home this evening and everything, because we have about 80 images for you to look at, which sounds like a lot, but I think as you go around, you'll be able to look at them and decide if there are things that are character that you desire to see in the Central Issaquah area, part of the green necklace, or not. If it's something that you like, you can decide what aspect of it, what key element that particular character image applies to, and mark it down on this sheet, and then a comment about what you like in that image too. You might not like everything you see in some of these images, but just even give us some notes so we're able to know what it was in that particular image. If you just like the image and you want it, you can just mark the number. If you don't like it, you don't have to write anything down, but you can also mark it and put a red circle and a line through it or whatever you want to do just to show that you didn't care for that image, and go that way. When we've made it all the way around to all the images and everything, when you've completed, we want to get these back from you, and so we can compile and look at what the priorities were for some of the character images and get those included into the rest of the green necklace report. I think that gives a summary of it. We'll have Stephanie go through the descriptions so everybody kind of has an idea of what the 17 elements are that we'll be talking about. And then should we hand out? Would it be better to hand? Yeah, I think if we hand these out, everybody has them in front of them. So if you want to get started, and I'll just make a lap around.
All right, so as Greg said, I'll be giving a quick rundown of the 17 elements, and Jeff will be kind of waving his hands at the map to show you where those elements are. And also, as Greg said, descriptions, partnerships, and code references are further expanded in that packet for your reference while we're doing the exercise this evening. So, starting with number 1, and this is labeled 1A and 1B on that diagram. This is a series of major public spaces that together become more than the sum of their parts. The intention is that this series of spaces can be seen as multiple entities, each with an individual character, but also as a larger connected space. These spaces might be urban plazas, or they might be more park-like, and they will respond to and connect to Mall Street, which is labeled number 4 on this map, and will also connect to 12th Avenue Northwest, labeled number 3. Number 2 shows a potential location for the future Sound Transit Station that is to provide a connection over or under I-90. A street connection will accommodate bikes, pedestrians, and cars, and create an intuitive route extending north to Lake Sammamish State Park. In addition to a street connection, the station will also provide an urban plaza and/or park space that intuitively connects to the parks and plazas labeled 1A and 1B. Number 3 is 12th Avenue Northwest. This street accommodates cars and provides a pleasant pedestrian and bike linear urban park experience. This street becomes a key connective piece of the city, emphasizing connections to Gilman, Maple, and Newport, labeled 5, Mall Street, labeled 4, Tibbetts Valley Park, and views to the south. Depending on the Sound Transit Station location, 12th may also be the street connection that continues north to Lake Sammamish State Park. Number 4 is Northwest Mall Street. The existing block of Northwest Mall Street between 12th Avenue Northwest and SR 900 becomes a street that focuses on the pedestrian bike experience. Mall Street continues east, potentially as a pedestrian bike-only trail, connecting to trails at 7th Avenue Northwest and creating a major east-west trail connection. Number 5 indicates what we are thinking of as symbiotic corridors. These corridors consist of Northwest Gilman, Mall Street, Maple Street, and Newport Way. So these are 4 unique streets, each serving an individual purpose that balances and enhances the others by providing for multiple user groups. It's both 5 and 4. So Mall Street is more, you'll define Mall Street's character as number 4, but it's also kind of described as part of number 5. So Gilman is currently in the master planning process and may provide a linear park, pedestrian, and bike experience. Maple serves a similar function to Gilman, but these linear park streets may have distinct characters. Mall Street is pedestrian and bike-centric, potentially becoming pedestrian bike only to the east of 12th. And Newport Way incorporates a multi-purpose path on one side of the street that accommodates pedestrians and bikes, and a sidewalk on the other side of the street. Number 6 shows locations where safer bike pedestrian travel is needed at SR 900. The circle to the south indicates a connection between Gilman Mall Maple to the SR 900 boardwalk and the Tibbetts Creek trails. Further study is needed for the best location of this connection. The circle to the north indicates the continuation of safe bike pedestrian passage along SR 900 at the I-90 off-ramp. Number 7 shows the Tibbetts Creek trail system. This major north-south connection will double as a major public space for the city, providing nodes for pausing or gathering. The south connection may be contingent on number 6, the location of the safe bike pedestrian connection over SR 900. The major north connection is to Newport Way via Anthology, formerly Gateway. A potential I-90 bike pedestrian overpass may provide future connection to Lake Sammamish State Park. And that brings me to number 8, which indicates that potential I-90 bike pedestrian overpass. This location is chosen versus slightly to the east because the Anthology, formerly Gateway Development, has provided a landing pad for this future overpass. Number 9 indicates enhanced bike pedestrian connections to the South Cove neighborhood. And number 10 presents an intuitive bike pedestrian east-west connection through Lake Sammamish State Park. This will serve as the intuitive, non-motorized experience paralleling Northwest Sammamish Road. This connection will link west to South Cove, east to the Issaquah Creek Trails and Creek Corridor, and to East Lake Sammamish Trail. This east-west connection will provide intuitive, direct connections to Northwest Sammamish Road and to Central Issaquah beyond. Number 11 shows creation of major entries to Lake Sammamish State Park that promote pedestrian bike access. 2 entries are along Northwest Sammamish Road and 1 at the north end of the Creek Corridor. In conjunction with this work, the entire edge along Northwest Sammamish Road needs added pedestrian permeability, which ties into number 12. Northwest Sammamish Road will provide a multi-use trail and added pedestrian permeability into the park. Number 13 indicates the formalization of a ped bike-only trail along 12th Avenue Northeast and Lake Drive. This path would be integrated into the future Sound Transit connection over under I-90. So on to number 14. This area is, as this area is developed, intuitive pedestrian connections need to be made down to East Lake Sammamish Trail and further west. This would include safe passage for pedestrians and bikes across East Lake Sammamish Parkway Southeast. Connections to the east and north will need study for feasibility and be implemented where possible. Number 15 is identified for a neighborhood park and/or plaza that celebrates views. Number 16 indicates the Creek Corridor. This is Issaquah's primary north-south corridor of parks and trails, weaving through the valley floor for the entire length of the city. This corridor serves as the anchor and primary feature of Issaquah's park system. This corridor will be a mix of natural and built environments. The network is realized by connecting parks, trails, and properties along Issaquah Creek, acquired for riparian habitat conservation, and includes the Rainier Trail. And the last element identified on the map is number 17, Northwest Holly Street. This is a bike ped-centric street that runs along Issaquah Valley Elementary and Confluence Park and connects Newport Way, Mall Street, the Creek Corridor and Rainier Trail, and Front Street. So I'm gonna hand it back over to Greg really quick.
Yeah, and I think the packet is just, whoop, probably get up here. The packet just has the points that Stephanie has just reviewed, and then, yep, Jeff has the maps in his hand, so you're gonna have one of these close up at hand too, so you can use that. We're gonna do some quick rearranging but before we jump in there. Any questions? That was a lot of information, and getting into this exercise might be clearer once we get things set up, but yeah, any questions?
Why does it stop in the middle of Old Town and not continue down to
Why does it stop in the middle of Old Town instead of going down past Sunset or into Second? Okay.
What is it, Ron? The trail?
The
or-
trails, because by the way, you guys did an amazing job. This is such a relief to see, other than the green pearls. So,
I think Trish answered it, and what I was speaking to here is this goes all the way to the southern edge of the city.
okay, we're not talking about that tonight, that's all right.
Right. I would just add, as you're getting the map as well, again, I know this is a ton of info. The narrative that's all around the map, I think provides some great descriptions as well. So just as you are embarking on this exercise and as you're digesting all this information tonight, and maybe in the next day or two, certainly any comments or feedback you have on any and all that info will be helpful as well.
Okay. I think with that, we're ready to set up. And we have 5 groupings of images, and so we are going to kind of grab the five biggest tables we had here and just get a little bit of space between them. And then we kind of let you guys self-police yourselves into maybe 5 groups. Tonight it looks like maybe 3 to 4 per table, so you have the ability to kind of circulate around and see all the images. We'll go 10 to 15 minutes. We can go as long as 15 for each grouping, but we think maybe it'll kind of pick up once everybody kind of starts getting the hang of it.
And the idea, Greg, is to, everybody's going to move to every table eventually,
Yes,
right?
yeah. So we'll rotate about every 10 or 15 minutes. We'll kind of move the groups to the next table so everybody gets a chance to see all the images. Doesn't mean you can't, jump to another table if you're done and you're ready to go, but we just thought to give it some order so we know we can get done in the time we have this evening, so. Okay, so we're going to take a couple of minutes here just to get groupings laid out. And
Cool.
But now it just keeps going anyway.
Stop the snowball. Once it gets big,
Totally. It's like, wait, clearly everybody had it. No, I mean, it's no longer like that. It's a front.
Yeah, I thought I was missing something, but there's nothing. I read the packet, so. I'm reading right between the lines.
Nope, the number is just so you can mark it onto here. You can say, I got photo 1. It's a number of this particular element.
similar in some respects.
Yeah, some, we kind of grouped them a little bit like that, you're gonna find some variation in there, you might find park one into some, but you might also look at this is that's good. Yeah, that should be back in the file. But yeah, I think that. No.
I want to say.
Yes. Well, you know, just, they're all sequential. It's one through eight.
Yeah, great.
So we thought we'd give everybody a chance to, yeah, it might take a minute.
It'll take a while to read the flow. Sorry, there's so much.
Yeah.
So you want us to write down
Well, if what'll happen is if you look at them and you're looking at this and say, line item letter, and it seems to fit better with,
you're talking about,
these we have about 5. And then you just put without telling us I mean, the most helpful if you could, but if you at least tell us what images you like and then why you like them. You can use that too, because I won't even know that, oh, well, if you recognize it, but you like it, and you think there should be more that is involved, then you identify it. If you think you don't like it, well,
No, we're just gonna say, we like this picture. We really like to see it. So green it, we like
So, Greg, you want to give a sense of how they're noting, like the numbers of the visuals? Are they just writing numbers down?
yeah, so on your piece of paper, all the photos are numbered sequentially, so they're 1 through 80. And then on your form, you'll fill in 1 through 80 next to whatever key element you think this is a good character image for. Now we have had one option inserted tonight, and that is, what if I look at images and I decide what I like about them? Can I just keep track of that? Because this is a challenging exercise, and we realize that some of us have seen a lot of this material a few times, and you're seeing it for the first time. So if you have to modify the exercise a little bit, that's what the minimum we need is for you to look at images and identify that you like them and what you like about them.
So what I hear you saying is, if you see an image you like, just jot down the number, even if you don't associate it with one of the 17 key elements, just let us know
Because you might even say, I like the
why you
trail.
I like it because.
Yeah, we'll know, okay, we can put it with a trail, or I like the plaza, we'll know to put it there, or whatever it is about the images that you like.
And so if you do note an image that you just kind of like holistically overarching, maybe note that on the back of one of the sheets, so we know that it's not associated with a particular element, but you just like the image in general.
But just to be clear, so one idea you have is that, so I really like image 25, and I think that's a good fit for number 2 on the map. I would put that
Put number-
image 25 in the number 2.
Yeah.
I'm smarter than I
Oh, yeah, no, it's more important that we hear from you about the emphasis.
Was this some of the original?
If you have questions, ask.
Oh, are they? Oh, geez.
Well, we were in Seattle for a day for, like, it was supposed to be over 1:30, and 1:30.
I know, I've got one.
Oh,
I
going
just-
on,
okay,
for like,
okay.
a half, it's like 86.
Who runs through it? right?
Yeah. He's got a new startup. It's like, so he was talking about his company and what he's doing and stuff. And I'm like, I go, we got it. And Jen's like, I'm gonna stay at the airport because you're giving away 2 Alaska airline tickets to anywhere they fly. Yeah. I'm like, you're not winning. She's like, you're staying. I'm like, oh, shit. She could have won. She didn't win. No, some guy from Lakewood won.
We showed them on the screen. And then you wrote down stuff, so thank you again. Bring your kids to work one day.
Get them in there, just because there's some funding, you know, because there's different piles. And we've included in the intersection, the 3 trails. Yes. So we'll fit them. We have a planner. Right back to Dan or Dan?
Oh, Dan. Yeah, Dan. He goes by Dan.
Used to be
You can identify why they do
Oh, sure, yeah.
I thought he had it all.
He's doing pretty good. I mean, I'm waiting for him to say.
West, and they have an office at South.
West.
Yeah. Or you want, you bought 20 lots. Yeah, trying to, doing this and.
Area there, things on the month, and then go from end to other area.
Yeah.
That's what. Keep the shuttle going, get off on the west side and come across and come down.
Yeah, it's a great area.
Good. Bird stuff, there's no water around it.
Yeah.
Nothing further on.
Well, I just wanted that area
Square playground home.
Yes. Sorry.
It's all right.
Oh, yeah, yeah, oh, yeah.
There's a street that comes up Pearl District.
Because I knew that.
Really? I mean, when Emily said, probably that's what's gonna happen, I'm like, are we mommy there? Everybody just says chest bump. So. Okay. You don't know. So when Mike's gone now, Mike is involved. So, yeah. Yeah, so my job. I didn't even walk along there again. It's unfriendliness of walking along the street, so, yes. So you, okay. Get it? So definitely. Yeah, Emily looked like she was getting close.
Oh, for a visual? Subtle, that's real subtle.
It is.
Well, yeah,
Well, there's some newer pictures.
Oh, I'm not doing it. Oh, so you got your voice done that.
I think people are just.
So these are extra, right? I told him where he lives, I think it's gonna be a small charge. they're getting outshined by the other cities. The other cities have a lot more staff, right? Right, well, and so, you know, so Mike, you know, and briefing his council members so that they could be ready to talk like they knew everything. You know, Paul's sitting there going, well, I can't question that. And then, you know, and then on that, say, 2050, and so, well, that's really good, and that's what we should be doing. And I'm thinking, well, okay, bigger city, bigger city. One 25. Although it was all about Auburn.
I know Auburn's sponsored.
Auburn, we like Cooper. Backus is like all in. She is so all in. Oh my God.
You know, that is definitely
It was there. It was everything there.
all that means.
So like, and I think beyond that, oh my God! Oh, she's always. Where she said yes.
So we have.
I think that it's a couple, I think, most conservations in
Greg was there. She and Microsoft that area are coming on as like regional economic development. So the one that's in existence now is gonna play out all in this new one that's being considered like right now they say they have, but I think we're not counting.
All this area that is.
You know, so they've got all these things.
That's why, but to your point, we don't, I guess the apples are out nowhere.
All of them have whatever the city is, you know. Driving on the outside, they recognize the day, but, you know,
Finding a way to kind of transition
Oh, like go and then just get like a 2 and a 7.
They did. The economists were good at captured that. It's like you could go for an hour.
Well, actually, what's
Although Jen looked like 20 pictures of it. Here's the back of Tom Skerritt's head. Here's the side of Tom Skerritt's head. Let's go up there and say hi. She's got plenty of pictures.
What was the best part out?
The economists were good. Growing for the next few years. That had the constable trying to summary if there's someone from Teagle and someone from their marketing department, and then and But then there was. It's already you know, and so we talk about that as a dynamic, but then we talk about budgeting. And we basically took a cinema, blew out all the walls, and just made like a working space for 700 people. So that's not normal. So, you know, most of these guys work in dark spaces. Yeah, and so it was, but it was very couple you know, it was the best. Much more I was trying to figure out you know, ways, all about it. You know, they eventually just kind of evolved into it. It was great. It's like Kirkland was great. Fine, you know, and you know, wait, what the heck is that? Like selfless promotion. I guess that's what you do, you know? So, but it was, you know, I'll go again if they have it.
All the elements, narratives. You know what, most of these pictures starting
It's kind of like, maybe I use it, it's almost, you know, in almost all cases, the obviously, it's not gonna put a bed here, so it's gonna be a trail. Nature trail down here, it's just a promenade, open spaces, almost all of it.
You know that this, it was almost like and so, you know, it worked for Boeing. You, but their approach is they want to it was so in other words, not be so niche, right? And it's not how we look at it. Well, that's one of the trends, you know, one of the, just the national stats on it. You know, all our things are going upward, that one is still going down. You know, it's not like it's, you know,
Maybe I should just go in there, because I don't like it. That would be better, worse than black.
So, of course, I had a 2 o'clock conference call, so I could back to like 2:45.
Not enough pictures for us to look through.
But it's, the dialects to conversations, so how those get worked out. It's gonna certainly.
Oh my God, yeah. Well, we'll pop back out, an opportunity. Yeah.
Basically trust everyone else.
So he was like, I gotta do this, I'm like, yes, you do.
Well, no, got swallowed, but.
Yeah.
Okay, there was a big SVR, you see it formally. And I still see
So
it.
on the conference, one started with international.
Yeah, and they didn't pay for them.
So we started, and it's just, oh, what, it's just data. And so like, you know, he was just like drumming the data, just like looking at charts and graphs. Then all of a sudden, he throws a joke in, and it was just hysterical, because everybody was just so like. And then they had the thing with Slow. She's really good. And she was good this year too. A little bit worse than Dave.
into that more detailed.
It's just, still, you know, they all kind of get who's going, and so, you know.
It was interesting that Amazon drove Treasure to release the space in Boston, I think it was.
And then just real quick.
Yeah, I heard that.
But they
What are
haven't
we, since we're just gonna come up with.
That was interesting. I was, one of the panels was, like, 5 degrees, they were all talking about, and all of us would, you know, all that other stuff, nowhere on anybody's
Well,
radar.
and that's the thing,
You know?
if Amazon's moving to
So the last one we
So,
it's not good, this was so confusing. Hopefully it's
somebody said that's why they picked Toronto, because BlackBerry's kind of going out. We've got a tech worker, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, that's,
Yeah.
that's fair.
No, not yet. Somebody.
The final document, Keith was wondering if we would have anything financed. And I said, well, we'd at least have the existing map.
Yeah.
We have this, we'd have that. He wants to go to PPC one last time, just a final of the blessing of the vision, the map, before he goes to Maine Shore, knowing that this part.
BlackBerry was actually something.
Which is fine, because I told him.
I was just admiring your necklace, so I didn't notice that you were talking to yourself.
Not yet. They're almost there.
There's my spell check in my brain, yeah.
So that's why we had the 13.
We thought we would just put something on today, which is like, but all the since land and shore, Stephanie has since land and shore. One more time, guys. This is it, yes or no? Okay, so, because you don't think these characters are not done.
Right, well, but I'm just thinking, when it comes at a later date, that would be interesting.
No, that's been PPC. Let's see it again. I think then it would go through everything.
I don't think we're supposed to. It's too much, it's too much. Yeah, there's actually, that's, I take that one because everyone's used to seeing the direction where the stores want to go, the railroad track. And this is completely other way, and it's visual. I love this contrast. Never seen it.
But if you, yeah, no, I understand that.
So
That's for next week.
Oh, I know, yeah. That's how it looks like.
So whatever you're gonna do,
yeah, sure, we can do that, but.
So,
I know there are a lot, so.
Here's the one that how strong all of them.
yeah, I think we're good.
You guys got a street scene.
Wow. Yeah. Other parts of the Well, so the green necklace can black. So I'll have all that necklace. So that's after March 22, when we have our 30-minute
Well, if you want to do it, you're welcome to do it. I just think
No, it's not gonna go in the pin zone, I'm just gonna leave the placeholder. Place for the green necklace, as long as I know we're not changing the name green necklace, which it doesn't seem we are. I see it says green necklace up there.
Yes, Metro Park.
Not in the version of the Daryl was my first boss. It just won't be built in. I mean, I just don't know it's
okay, so the first generation.
You guys are tracking.
I was others in the second generation. Okay. And then the third generation, and that died. And died. Andy's sometimes the fourth generation. Okay. He's come on. I just want
John Ross, three retired park director.
Well, so there's still this not sorry, parks. That would be,
Strawberry, so cool to kind of contrast we're on Archer, we're on the first tee at San Andrews, the RNA, So we had a lot of family on bikes and their dogs across. You're a public park guy, this is the coolest thing. The whole of golf and golfers don't get the right of way. People, the family going to the beach gets the right of way. That's fine. You haven't lost your soul, you know. This country has somehow crossed over to privacy. What's happened in other places, but like the essence of golf. It's gonna be next to 3 other chunks. Yeah.
We're starting to get some questions.
Good. Cool. Just a 2 minute. Hey, time check. Where's everyone at? Go ahead,
Yeah,
Rick.
no, is everybody getting through mostly? Are there just a few more? How are we doing? Everybody's kind of good?
Cool.
Whenever you're done, yeah, you can just give it to one of us. That's fine. We'll take it. What's that?
Yeah.
This is okay, name is okay, doesn't either way. You don't have to change.
I'll just put optional next to them. No, you can keep
So I guess
You're on, you're on.
In some ways, this could be a little bit hard, but it's just very, very
Partial credit. I mean, when you think of how many people are going in at Gateway. Because it's this,
Kelly, that right there.
there's pieces of it.
But then one time I went and I got this can't run. Well, I'm not gonna be the guy that can't run.
Yeah, that's the behind, there's already, the county's got some of this already. I gotta get some more of it. Silverados. Places here. This is sitting here. The county just bought this.
We bought that?
The county bought this. Arizona. Thompson Trucking. And it was just, it was full of unrecycled
How close, and we,
I've never done that one time.
it just goes up and then it hits the east side. They have cars and trailhead. Sometimes it's good, sometimes they cut everything out, because they have a little excavator, they gotta and like this pipe, but then cut out the things that are, and some of the things they cut out also around bike.
Getting wider now, so.
Now it's suddenly nice.
Okay. Cool. So do we want to huddle? How do we want to pull the chairs together or just?
Oh, sure, yeah. They used to be over by these.
They no longer work here.
They're heavy on the water sheet, right?
No, I still get to do one, but
Civil engineering. They have a lot of civil engineering projects on water.
Oh, it was a vivid.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's going to up
They kept the really, I think he's fucking amazing by Yeah, but they're doing the big deal at the Three Trail Crossing, right? Yeah. Yeah, so he's so,
Oh, are you? Okay. But you're not right.
Oh, 24/7.
I am working.
And the world would be better off.
Oh, you're So I mentioned that Kurt, in terms of the building project, is not only just the Three Trails project, but as we're really crossing.
This kind of crossing?
No, just how do we get East Lake Summit Trail not to feel like it ends right there? The Rainier Trail is right on the other side of Gilman. We haven't done a good job. We currently, if you look at the landscape, it's disguised. You wouldn't, if you're a trail user, you wouldn't look across and realize, holy cow, it keeps going. So I think there's an opportunity for us to better, both physically and visually connect those, so that all those users, you know what, holy cow, this goes all the way to Front Street, Old Town. We'd be up there.
A lot of people ride the trail, doing the whole around the lake thing and stuff like that. They're just gonna, we want to carry them into here.
Come on in.
Not just to go to Costco for a hot dog,
You did, you threw it to the ground.
So you want to pose some questions?
I don't have any of them great. If you want me to make up some things, what'd you have for dinner? Oh, you had. There we go. I think that's our 4%. So.
Good.
Okay, so thank you everyone for participating. That went a lot quicker, and hopefully it was not painful to go through and look at all the images. We just thought we would just do a quick check back, see if there was any feedback for us, any kind of thoughts when you've seen all these images and how this is coming together. What'll happen is that form that you were working on will get populated with the images. And we're going to go through a couple of rounds to get the images right. And probably when it's finished, there could be anywhere between 6 or 10 images to go with these key elements. And I think that was what we always felt would be a successful piece to this green necklace, was to have the map along with a series of images that everybody could then have that idea of what the vision is, so and be consistent with it. So, but just thought we'd take a minute, since we did kind of get through that exercise a little bit quicker, and see if there was any thoughts or anything anybody wanted to share back, or yeah.
I didn't see any pedestrian crossing type things. I didn't see anything for the ST3. Although you could probably put a trolley station there.
Yeah.
And number 5, I had a hard time with number 5 because it goes through so much of the area that it has almost different ecosystems it goes through. So
Okay. Different.
even though it's number 5, it's different attributes to different parts of number 5.
Okay.
Almost wanted to break that up.
So a couple points on sound transit. So did you mark these comments down for us?
I did.
Okay,
yes.
so, well, on that one, yeah, I think we heard that a couple of times, that there weren't any images that were really with that. It was, for us, it's a little bit of a crossing point, but it's a crossing, and we don't know whether it's elevated or goes under, or the different ways, or actually even where it will really end up. But I think if we make, and I'm kind of looking, we might find something to support it at least, so we have something in there, a graphic or image that we could do with that. And then same with kind of the number 5 area. So did you kind of gave us the comment that it's changing character quite a bit?
I didn't.
Okay. Okay.
Should have, but.
Okay, well,
We just did.
you just did. There you go. There you go. But that's, yeah, thank you. That's what we wanted to get some feedback.
Sorry,
on.
one last thing. And number 10, I didn't see anything that would be like vendor resources. If you wanted to create a, like for food trucks or pop tents for refreshments on a hot summer day, because we got
Okay.
volleyball events in there, and a lot of tourism is going to be going through
Yeah.
there, and there's nothing to serve those tourists.
Okay, nope, great, well, we can get that too. That's good, thanks.
Just one thought, following up on Ron's thought about Sound Transit, might be good to look at what Sound Transit's been doing in their stations that they've been building and designing, and see if there's things that we like and don't like about what they've done so far, and what might work best for our community from those.
Yeah, There's the built ones, and then the others that are still planned and in construction. I think there's enough images to really start to see what some of the character might be, and if there's, they're all pretty unique conditions. I'm not sure if there's, I have to think through if there's one that's kind of like on this interstate.
Yeah, a lot of them
condition,
have
so-
been, and a lot of them have been so urban,
Yeah,
they're just starting to work their way out
Yeah.
into, a little further away. So probably feels a little different than anything that's been
yeah.
designed yet, but.
Yeah, that's the interesting thing with what we tried to do was use you recognize some of the exhibits. We borrowed from some of your design guidelines, urban design, some other publications you had, and put those out to kind of see, do those still fit? And if they do, that's great. But then we populate with images from other places, and that might be one thing to do is we could do a little exploration on maybe transit stations that aren't just Sound Transit here local, because I think it's a good point that they're urban, and we might be able to find some that have a context where maybe they are, I don't know if there's a one that's done this lidded or something like that, but we can definitely see if there's some images we could go incorporate. So, thank you. Anything else?
Sorry, so I was late, missed the start, so anyway, my thought is that most of these pictures talk about an urban or designed park area. They don't talk about retaining any functionality or benefit of retaining the natural beauty for its own sake, or for carbon offset, or for preserving or taking in pollutants. I think we need to talk more about how we're going to do that within the urban core areas, and also talk about retaining natural beauty in, let's say, the Issaquah Alps. I don't see a plan, and I'd like to see, frankly, the Parks Department being responsible for more than just the built areas, but also those tree canopy and Squaw Mountain and all that in this concept route.
So and that would be within some of the green corridors and things like that, to make sure we're expressing that? Is that?
Again, it's the green areas, plus it's beyond. It's for all of Issaquah.
Okay.
Like protecting the beauty of the Issaquah Alps. Does the parks, or should the Parks Department have some responsibility for that throughout the Issaquah life?
Okay. Jeff, anything you want to?
Yeah, just real quick, Steve, great point. So one of the points I made in the introduction, though this exercise is about Central Issaquah, certainly something we recognize in this map really is the necklace as it supports and performs and is positioned for Central Issaquah. We recognized, as we're working on the park plan, as we're even working on this, our responsibility, just what you're saying, goes beyond these borders, and we really see it as a connected and unified system. I do know that some of the groupings certainly spoke and had some strong images about more passive and natural area parks. I'm not sure if you had gotten to those visuals.
I liked 74 through 76 pictures, but for retained natural beauty, but most of them didn't seem to talk about that, in my opinion.
Great.
My perspective.
Cool.
Okay.
Thanks.
Good. Thank you.
I had one other thing that I forgot to mention here, and that is there are a lot of regional bike routes that come into Issaquah because of our mountains. And so a lot of people like to ride the mountains, and I didn't see anything for Squawk. That's a really common bike path. So people go up to Forest Rim, up from Sunset, and then back down to Sunset.
Okay.
It's outside of this.
Oh, I'm sorry. Never mind.
Yeah.
Scratch all that.
Nope.
I like that you guys naturally think beyond, because it is. It's a unified system.
Being central.
Yeah. Fair enough.
One big system.
Any other thoughts or comments? And we really appreciate you participating in this, and I'm kind of excited to see what we're going to come up. I think we're going to get some pretty good collection of images and things here. We will kind of do a little bit to augment this with some of the comments. So you gave us some comments with the image and things like that, so we can add to it. So there might be some additional images kind of coming in to help, help really kind of give it some framework and some vision. But I think that what we got tonight was great. It's going to launch us into the last phase of this effort to put together a cohesive vision for the green necklace. So, anything else for our part? I think that you still have meeting to do or something, right? So, oh, this is it. Okay. Okay.
Do we need to open up for public comment?
Yeah, I mean, public. can chime in.
I just noticed someone's talking about.
Round, do you want to end the meeting now?
Need if you might, you know that, right?
Oh.
So I guess we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. And did we have any last comments from the commissioners? Will we wrap it up? Okay, I'm going to, actually need a motion to end the meeting? No? All right, we're going to end the meeting at 8:02 p.m. All right, thank you, meeting adjourned.